love Italian food. I don't know. It's in my DNA. I like the way. I love the crazy driving. I love how they haven't just destroyed their hill towns, etc. I just love their cuisine and particularly how it varies so dramatically from region to region.
Did you went round the pubs around here?
Yeah, and then just looked. I thought, Christ, everybody's serving the same.
So
fish and chips, sticky toffee pudding, chocolate brownie, pork belly. If you're the same as everybody else, you're going to be chased on price. The Brits can tend to fall into three categories. I'm embarrassed that I don't know what the equivalent of Italophile is for Spain, but it's either Spanish cooking, but they tend to be either Italophiles or Francophiles, and sometimes there's a Venn diagram and they overlap. I've had this obsession with Italy since forever. We've been going every year for over 30 years, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a year. My kids love it. I love Italian food. I don't know. It's in my DNA. I like the way. I love the crazy driving. I love how they haven't just destroyed their hill towns, etc. I just love their cuisine and particularly how it varies so dramatically from region to region. The truth of the matter is that at my former firm, which was called Eversheds, there were many things that Eversheds did so well for me, and some of them was about teaching me how to, because I was clueless, financially manage, the importance of those things we mentioned earlier. And one of them was about having a differentiator. And they sent us away to school and stuff, and one of the outtakes was
sorry. So even that you're a lawyer, but they were telling you about marketing and differentiation.
Yes, absolutely.
Why is that?
Well, because you're fighting for market share, but
is that a differentiator for the clients you're representing, or for like your
for my product, the way that we were delivering a legal service, needed ideally a differentiator. And it was for this adage, which I came back from, they sent us away to business school, and it says, if you're the same as everybody else, you're going to be chased on price. I call it the fish and chips. Don't get me wrong, I'm no fish and chips shop. I love fish and chips. Love fish and chips. But the problem with serving fish and chips, like 92% of pubs in this country, by the way, I've pulled that figure out of the top of my head.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But, and we were in Southwold on Friday, and what did I have? Fish and chips. But the problem is they say, oh, you've charged £20 for fish and chips. I can go down the road and get it for 14. Whereas if you're delivering something different, then they tend to see that adds value, and it's very difficult to do the comparison. But if you're doing sticky toffee pudding, chocolate brownie, pork belly, chicken and chips, fish and chips, but inevitably there are price comparisons. So on a basic level, we needed to do something different. So I did some competitor research. Sounds very grandiose. It was just something else that we used to do competitor research in my former job all the time, saying, well, what are we doing different? What are we doing better? Who else is doing better than us? Mm-hmm. Because if we can do it better, we can charge more, broadly. And in a competitive market where you're chasing margin, that's what you need in all businesses, but certainly in hospitality where the margins are challenging. And broadly speaking, I'm going to get this wrong, but within a 25-mile radius, I worked out that it was something like 70% or 80% of the pubs were serving 87% of the food, and it was variations on a theme of those things I've mentioned.
So sorry. So you're literally this is
prior to opening.
Oh, sorry. So but the lesson was from the time at law.
Yeah, the time was at law because they taught me to do a competitor research and to search for a differentiator.
So did you went round the pubs around here?
Yeah, and they just looked. I thought, Christ, everybody's serving the same.
So what is the same on those menus? So it's just
fish and chips, sticky toffee pudding, chocolate brownie, pork belly, duck spring roll, the usual suspects. So the baseline was I wanted to do something different. And then, but not now, there weren't many focusing on quality Italian. What I mean by that is, my second favourite dish in the world is spag bowl. But I don't mean spag bowl, but doing, if you like, Italian trattoria, cucina povera dishes, sort of focusing on the quality of the ingredients and letting them speak for themselves rather than over-stylized presentation. And also had this rather cliche obsession with the River Cafe, because I've just cooked everything in all their books. And they focus on the quality of the ingredients, not over-stylized presentation, and let the ingredients speak for themselves. So back to basics, it was, what's going to be the differentiator? Well, if everybody else is doing that, we need to do something different. let's do Italy because I love Italy. God bless him. Dave Wall had a classical French training, for God's sake. So this was a conversion therapy for him, thinking, not only is this guy off his rocker because he thinks he can run a restaurant, but now he's going to get me to cook Italian food, whereas for Ramsay Italia, he's been broadly doing variations in a theme of French quasi-British. But it's a conversion that, by God, he embraced, and with gusto. So that's where the Britalian thing is, because we do, Suffolk is chef heaven. The fresh and the quality ingredients you can get within 30 miles of here is extraordinary. So we wanted something that people were going to also want, because it's all very well this guy, this former lawyer, saying, well, we're going to do Britalian food because that's where I go on holiday, and therefore I'm going to shove that down your throat, Suffolk, and you're going to eat it. The Britalian bit is the bit because you actually got to give people also what they want. And as beautiful as a raviolo of cuttlefish in a lobster ragu might be, you just had
That's absolutely insane. Yeah.
Maybe that's not everyone's cup of tea. And so it was Britalian because we can still serve some of the best British food around, give it an Italian slant, make it slightly different, and different to the pack. So that's how it came about, and it seems to work.
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel, and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.